If you can't find good deals, you aren't gonna make any money flipping cars. So today, I'm using Facebook Marketplace to find the best deal possible. And after making hundreds of thousands flipping cars over the last 7 years, I've made two rules we'll be following today to find the best deals. They have to be under $6,000 and less than 150,000 miles. Our filters are date listed, newest first, so we get the newest listings, owner individual, so we don't have any overpriced dealers, 6,000 because that's our rule number one, and 150,000 miles because that's rule number two. So let's get searching. This Toyota is 75,000 miles, $3,500. In the mileage, that's pretty low. I don't know what they're selling for, but already I can see in the description it says 3,500 or best offer, which means they're going to take even lower than that, maybe 2,500 or even less. And they also say they're going from $7,000 to $10,000. I don't know if that's true or whatever, but 75,000 miles is really low for one of these cars. The only thing I do notice in the description is it says the only thing I notice in this description is it says it was an old lady's car, meaning now it's not. So maybe this guy just bought it and the title's in his name, or maybe he bought it from an old lady and now he's flipping it. But you know, these old ladies, they love to take care of their cars. They don't know how to drive. Sometimes they bump them around, but usually they just don't drive them at all and they're pretty nice. Couple things they do say it needs work. It needs CV boots, brake pads, but the replacement parts are in the trunk, so we don't even have to buy them, and it needs an alignment and a pair of tires. So it needs some stuff, but it's really not a big deal. I'm 100% going to save this car. And on all the cars, we're going to be buying a Carfax, and we're also going to go through and compare them with other similar cars. I'll just show you this one as an example. I just realized we didn't even look over the photos, so before doing that, let's check out the photo. And just quickly looking over them, it looks to be very clean. Nothing wrong with it. There's a couple scrapes and stuff, but those aren't really a big deal. There's the new parts in the trunk. Yeah, it looks great. Okay, let me buy a Carfax on this and let's see how it checks out. All I do is take the license plate and put it into Carfax to buy one. Here's this Carfax. Let's look over it. So far, I don't see any major issues. It says there's two owners, which is good to see. And so what I presume right here is going on is 24 years is the first owner, which was the old lady. And then this guy bought and drove it around for 4 years. So it seems like his story checks out what he told us. The mileage is correct. Just looking through all this, it looks like it was serviced a whole bunch of times just over and over again as this lady had it. So it was taken really well care of. As we can see, it didn't drive that many miles up until 2021. Then this guy bought it. He drove it a normal amount. And we can see the alignment was checked, but in the description, he told us it needed an alignment, so I assume he just didn't do it. And he's passed emissions. It seems like he does his own work, which is why the brake pads were in the back. So his story checks out. The car looks good. Everything's great about it. Now let's just compare it and see what they're going for to see if it's actually a deal or not. Real fast, if you're getting into car flipping, I'd like to give you a free Carfax. It'll help you avoid buying a car with hidden problems like being in an accident or having a bad history. They're normally $45, but this is my gift to you completely free. Just click the link in the description, enter your email, and I'll send it over. All I do is copy and paste that into another tab and see what they're selling for. And I didn't paste the year in because sometimes I like to see a little variable on the year. So like it could be from 1996 to 2005. They're usually going to be selling for around the same price. Like we won't look at the 2014 ones. And just quickly skimming through it, all of these have tons of miles, like 200,000 miles, and ours only has 75,000. So it's not even comparable to these. And I mean, yeah, there's really, now we're getting into the other cars. There's really none that are even anywhere near this car. So what I'm going to do is go to here and we're going to extend the range to 500 miles just to see what they're selling for. To be honest, there's no good examples to compare it with. So this is where you have to use like your expertise, I guess you could say. You can look at the ones with higher miles and it seems like they're selling for around $2,000, but they have like 200,000 miles. So ours with 75,000 miles might sell for $4,000 or even $5,000, just depending on who wants to buy it. Let's just say 4,500 to be safe. And so buying it at 3,500 isn't a good deal, but he did say or best offer down in the description. So I would like to say that he'd give us it for 2,500, and that's an easy $2,000 profit, which is amazing. And it really doesn't need much. You just fix up the scuffs, do the quick little repairs he said down there. And yeah, so this is our first deal, and we'll be doing that on every car we find today. Just like that one, we're gonna buy a Carfax and compare it with other ones, and usually we'll be able to compare it and see what they're selling for. That one was just a weird scenario. But before we do that on all the cars, we're gonna find like 5 or 10 cars, save them all for later, then go back, buy Carfaxes on all of them, then go back on the ones that have good Carfaxes and compare them to see what our final deals are. Then we'll sort through our 3 to 5 deals we might end up with and pick the very best one we found today. $2,000 for a 2001. This seems pretty good. Let's check out the description. He doesn't say there's anything wrong, but obviously we can see the hood is not the hood, the roof is rusted. There's a little scrape there, unless that's a reflection, but the interior is perfectly clean. And you can also see like the plate registration sticker is 2027, which I always look at that to see if it's up to date or not. And yeah, this car looks perfect. The only thing I will say is a little suspicious is it's with all these other cars. Maybe you just went to a random parking lot, but you can see there's all sorts of cars back there too. And if I had to guess, he's a flipper, but he could be a normal guy. We don't really know. The car looks clean. With 127,000 miles for only $2,000, this could definitely be a good deal. So we're going to save that and we'll do what we did on the other car later on. This one says 12,000 miles. If I had to guess, it's 120,000 miles. That's usually what they do. Yep, exactly. 122,000 miles right there. They usually just forget a zero for whatever reason. And looking over the pictures, it looks to be pretty beat up. That thing looks like it's like hit a human in the front or something. Also, I just noticed the plate, well, right there is from a different state. And I don't really want to be buying any from other states, so let's keep looking for ones in California. $1,800 for a 2006 Chevy Cobalt. Tags are paid. The description looks good. And he says shoot me offers, which is like he'd take $1,200. But as we can see, the paint is absolutely horrible. This would be honestly a good car to just buy and drive around if you don't care what it looks like. But for reselling it, it's going to be hard to sell like that, and it's not worth repainting. So we're going to move on. Dang, $1,100, Hyundai Santa Fe, 90,000 miles on it. I didn't even see that. Non-op, runs, pink slip, bring your own battery. That's a little weird how he says bring your own battery. I mean, hey, if you brought your own battery and it worked, I guess it's a deal, so it's still worth it as long as he says it runs and everything. And it looks to be in really good condition. Obviously, the paint's messed up, but it's not horrible and it could be fixed a little bit. And it's an SUV and 4x4, which sell for more. This thing could easily sell for a lot more money, just fixed up a little bit. You don't need to make it perfect. So I saved that one and let's keep finding some more. All right, a truck, Ford Ranger, $1,400 with, we don't know the miles, but it says it has back fees and it needs to be smogged and there's only one picture and we can see there's some like dents and stuff with it. It seems like this thing might end up being like a project car and I'm not gonna message him. But what about this $2,300 Ford Focus? It's salvage title. Whenever they're salvage title, I'll never buy them. They just don't sell as well. People always make complaints about it. They have lots more problems. And so let's see what else is out here. A Dodge Charger for $1,200. There's got to be something up. Yep, it's a scam. When they put the email in, it's a scam. Don't email them. You're going to get scammed. Ooh, a little Ford Escort for you. $2,900. Under 100,000 miles, which is great. No mechanical issues whatsoever. That's cool. So the only problems might be the paint. I mean, yeah, the paint doesn't look perfect, but it looks pretty good. The inside looks perfect. The price is a little high for a 1998, but I'm not really sure what these are selling for. Some people love how they look because they're a wagon. So we're going to save it. We'll come back to it and see if it's actually a deal or if I'm just crazy and I just saved a random car. This one, it's all over Facebook Marketplace. It's a scam. There's no reason to click it. They just say email me in the description. This one looks nice. A 2008 Mini Cooper for $2,000 with a little over 100,000 miles, they say. Clear coat's peeling. It's an oil guzzler. And that's all they say. And obviously, if it's taking down oil and you need to keep refilling it, it's probably got some sort of problem that's burning off the oil or it's leaking. But for this good of a car, it's definitely going to be worth fixing that problem. So we're definitely saving this one. There's a lot of good deals. $1,100, 2008, and it says couple dents. There's no major mechanical problems. But then he says he doesn't want to put money into fixing it, which is a little weird because he just said there was nothing. I guess this is what he's talking about, the front. But obviously you can just drive with that. It just needs a front bumper, it looks like, which really isn't going to be that big of a deal. And on something like this, there's a little, whatever that is, like a cut down the front. And so I would just replace the bumper and you just leave that because it's not that big of a deal. It seems like it only needs a bumper, which is great. And the rest of it looks to be really clean. So we're 100% going to save this car. And we'll get on to comparing it after we find a couple more. All right, a $2,000 2008 Nissan Altima. It's behind on tags since August, so that's not that big of a problem. It'll be like $100, $200, maybe $300, but nothing more than that, which is not a big deal. Just needs a back battery. The back bumpers, obviously we can see that's completely destroyed, but a bumper, you could go get one at a junkyard for pretty cheap. The only problem is if this panel right here is dented in, It's not gonna look good when you put on a new bumper. I'm trying to find out. It's kind of hard to see. Yeah, you can see there's a reflection in it. It's hard to see. So because of that, you can't really fix quarter panels. You have to do a whole bunch of Bondo and paint over it and stuff, and it just won't end up being that good of a fix. And it's gonna take a lot of time and money, so that's not gonna be worth it, even if you can find cheap ones. I just clicked this one, and just looking over it really quickly, it doesn't seem like that good of a deal. Yeah, it's clean, whatever, but it's 2,500 for a 1995. It has 75,000 miles. It's just really old. So that one could be a good deal, but it's a little weird, and we're just gonna find another one because there's definitely some more deals out here. All right, a Volkswagen GTI. All right, here's a $3,000 2006 Volkswagen, 128,000 miles. The description says there's nothing really wrong with it. It looks to be perfectly clean on the inside and outside. So the only major factor about this is whether it's a good deal or if it's just priced right, but we'll save it and we'll check back later just to see if it's a good deal. That one, probably not, but we'll see. Chevy Trailblazer, $2,600. The description says it's always been maintained. There's nothing wrong with it. And they're asking $2,600. Whenever they say asking, they've got to be a little negotiable because they aren't saying like 2,600 firm or I want 2,000. They're like, I'm asking this, but maybe I'll take less. And just looking over the pictures, it looks to be in pretty good condition. So the only thing that matters is what other similar ones are selling for. So we'll save that and keep looking. Dang, I'm thirsty. You got to give me a water break. All right, back to the search. And I just saw this one, so I'll let you know. I would never buy a crashed car like this because you're just gonna buy it. It's gonna have some problems back there. It might have some engine problems. The frame might be shifted a little bit. That one doesn't look too bad, but it's usually never worth fixing on these cheaper cars. And I like to flip cheaper cars because they're cheaper. There's a lot less that can go wrong if you lose your money or whatever. And I just clicked on this one. It obviously, you can see now it's in the dealership. There's stuff in the window. They also say the price is a lot higher. And I didn't really assume I was going to get a 2022 for $1,600, but I just wanted to see what was up because it looked great. A Ford Crown Victoria, 1994. Only $2,000, less than 100,000 miles. But they do say it does need some work, needs new battery, not sure, needs some other stuff. So it seems like it doesn't just need a new battery. It's not going to run and drive, even if you put a new battery in there. So we're not going to buy this, but I do like the blue interior. All right, let's do a speed round where I'm just going to show you these preview pictures and we're just going to talk about what it's like. And then we'll click on the ones that seem like they're worth clicking on. Real quick, if you're interested in car flipping, I'd like to give you a free gift. It's a simple calculator for car flippers that automatically calculates things like your hourly rate and profit. Here's how it works. First, put in this information about your car. Next, add all the tasks you need to do before selling it. Then fill in the cost and hours of each task. Now it'll do all the calculations for you and give you your final numbers. This will help you see how much money you're actually making and keep records on every car flip. So I'd like to give you this flip tracker absolutely free. Just click the link in the description, enter your email, and it'll be sent over to you. This one right here, $2,000, 2017. Obviously, it's not going to be $2,000. Probably a down payment or something. It's not worth it clicking on that one. This one, it just seems quite high priced for the miles and the year and the condition, as we can see. Right here is a $3,500 truck. Yeah, that one's worth clicking on. It does look like not in the best condition, and we don't know how many miles it has because it definitely doesn't have 17,000, but trucks sell for a lot. This one, 5,500. Yeah, it's a Honda Accord, which sell for more, but with the miles, it doesn't seem that good of a deal. This one says free. They're probably asking for offers, and whenever they ask for offers, they want way too high of a price, but it's worth clicking on. This one, $4,200, 89,000 miles. It seems all right. That's probably just average priced. Right here is a 2019 for 5,500. If that's true, that's probably a pretty good deal, even though it has 114,000 miles just because it's so new and it looks to be in perfect condition. So we'll definitely click on that one. This one, you can see it's like a junkyard car. They're probably just selling the parts off of it. This one honestly looks like a scam. They have this weird like filter they put over the pictures that just mean it's a scam, which I don't know why they do that or what's up with it. Maybe it's AI or something, who knows. But we'll click on it just to show you that. And this one, $3,000 for a Jeep with under 100,000 miles. That could be a good deal, so it's worth clicking on. So we just went over these 10 listings. Now let's click on the ones that make sense. Starting with this truck right here. Truck runs and drives, gas gauge doesn't work. Don't want to put money into it. Yeah, he's kind of saying like there's a whole bunch of problems by saying that. So it's probably not going to be worth fixing it. He does say the price is or best offer, but I bet if you go check out this car, it's going to have a whole bunch of problems. And you can see like right in there in the fender, it's red, which means he sprayed in the fenders black, but the car's blue. There's red, there's gray. This thing's been painted a whole bunch of times probably. So it's gonna be way too big of a deal to buy. Let's check out this free Nissan. Not free, of course, yes. But what do you want for it? He doesn't say what he wants for it. He's probably just asking for offers, like I said. Only 67,000 miles. That's very low for these things. Looks to be all right. And it says has vinyl wrap on it, which is even worse because it's probably all dinged up and stuff under the wrap. We don't know until you take it off, so that one's not going to be a good deal. Let's check out this $3,000 Jeep Liberty. Right away, I see it's a rebuilt title, which is probably why it's kind of cheap. Rebuilt titles, salvage titles, they're both the same thing. And it just means it was in a crash and it was kind of deemed like it was too expensive to fix. But clicking on this one, oh, this one's not available anymore. I bet it was deleted because it was a scam. Did it just reset all the stuff we did? Yep, it did. All right, let me scroll back down and find where we were at. All right, it just got all messed up. I can't find where I was, so we're just gonna take the deals we found and start buying Carfaxes on them and comparing them to find the best one. So here's our 8 deals we found for today. Let's just start right here at the bottom and start. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, this one at the bottom is the one we figured out that was a $2,000 profit on already, so that's already a really good deal. Let's see if any of these other 7 can be an even better deal. This one right here, we can already see the license plate, so let's buy a Carfax. The miles, the car seem to check out, so there's no problems with that. Usually these earlier records I won't pay much attention to because they really don't matter when you're just flipping a car, and I'm just making sure I don't see anything that stands out like a mileage rollback or an accident. And yeah, it seems to be pretty good. Well, as I was just saying that, I noticed that it was just sold at an auction. And then that was the last record. And so that's kind of suspicious. Let me check it out. Yeah, it looks like this guy's a dealer. I bet he is because of all those cars in the back. He was probably the guy that bought it at the auction. And as we can see, he never registered it in his name. So he probably still has the auction paperwork. So this guy, if you were really interested and it seemed like a really good deal, I would message the guy, ask him what's up with it, if he has the real title in hand and all that. But looking over it, that makes it pretty suspicious and there's something up. So we're gonna unsave this one and we'll move on to the next one. Let's unsave that right there and go on to this. All right, as we can see, the license plate is taken off, so he doesn't want us to see that. And so we can't buy a Carfax on it, but let's take the car, put it in another tab, and see what other similar ones are selling for. Ours only had 90,000 miles, so it's more comparable to like this one with 77,000 miles or 135,000 miles. But ours was in a lot worse condition than all of these basically. So yeah, we could fix it up. And let me look. Yeah, the paint was completely destroyed. It just needs a whole rebuild and like making it all look new. But if they're selling for 5,500 like that one up there, or this one's almost 6,000 and ours has a lot less miles than almost all of these. Here's a 5,500 another one. So it seems like they're selling for up to $5,000 fixed up. We could get $5,000 because this one has even less miles. We just have to have perfect paint and stuff, and obviously we'll never get that paint perfect. So maybe we could fix it up and get $3,000 for it, but that's obviously a great deal because we're only getting it for $1,000. We aren't even risking much money on it, and if we bring our own battery, it seems like he's saying it's gonna run. So seems pretty good deal, and this one's another good one. We got those bottom 2 that are good deals. Let's check out these next ones. 1998 Ford. Let's see if they show the license plate to buy a Carfax. There it was. All right, give me a second. Here's the Carfax. The mileage is right. Looking over it, I don't see anything. The one thing I do see is it had a loan, which you just have to make sure that's not on it anymore. But obviously that was in 1998, so it's not going to be there. But if you see it more down on the Carfax, like way down here, that would be good to check out. And it's kind of suspicious that someone just bought this very recently and now they're already selling it. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal if everything else checks out. And what we can see right here is the guy's had it since 2000. And it looks like he did all his own maintenance because you can see it was just passing emissions, but nothing else. So that normally you would see maintenance records. Yeah, it hasn't had any for the whole life of the car, which is kind of crazy because I guess there were mechanics that owned it, but let's just go back to this listing, see what he says, because it seems like he just bought it and now he's trying to sell it, which is a little weird. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's up with that, but I mean, if it's a good car, it's a good car, so let's compare it. And I would just make sure you're a little more thorough with the questions you ask him if you go in person to make sure there's nothing sketchy going on. But if he has the title and the car is good, that's kind of all that matters. Ours is 100,000 miles, it's $2,900, there it is right there. So we're comparing it with other similar ones. Seems like a lot of these are going for very cheap. Yeah, they have more miles than ours, but they aren't going for very much. So that kind of takes this off the list and it's not going to be worth buying, even though it has low miles, because it's priced right, I would say. Yeah, if you could negotiate it down a little bit, it'd be worth it. But I don't like relying only on negotiation. I like finding a good deal, then negotiating it down. Then you get an even better deal. So the Carfax, the license plate is right here to buy one. So already I noticed something pretty sketchy. It says it's a 2007 with 110,000 miles. And if we click on the listing, it says 100,000 miles and it's a 2008. So they've just got it wrong. If I had to guess, it looks like they just guessed kind of because they know it's somewhere around there, which is why they took barely any pictures. They just don't care about this car and they're just trying to sell it fast. They aren't good at listing cars, which I guess is fine, but it's something to note. And yeah, looking over the rest of this, the beginning all looks good. I like to scroll to the end, as we've said. Yeah, it looks great. It looks like they just had a whole bunch of stuff checked. Some stuff changed, but really they didn't do very much work there. It looks like they did, but they didn't. And then some more stuff was done there. So it does have some recent records, which are good to see. And going back over it just to check once again, yeah, it seems pretty good. So the only thing that matters now is comparing it to see what other similar ones are selling for. So let's go over here, put it in our other tab. And I mean, hey, they're going from $3,000 to $4,000. Some of them are a little cheaper, but they have a ton more miles. Yeah, I think we could get 3,500 for sure. And you definitely could negotiate this thing down to $1,500. I'd say that's easily a $2,000 profit. Maybe you could even make $2,500 pretty easily, and it would not be a big deal. So far, I would say this one's the best. This one's second best, and this one's third best, but they're all pretty good deals for what they are. What about this Jeep right here? Do you show the license plate? Nope, he blurs out the license plate, so we can't do anything about that. But if you do want this car, I would just ask the guy for the license plate or the VIN number, and then you could buy a Carfax on it. But because we probably aren't going to buy this car, let's just put it in another tab and see what the other similar ones are selling for. They seem to be going for up to $3,000. Yeah, there's some higher ones, but they have low miles. They're probably a lot cleaner. And yeah, there's some lower ones just like these three. I would say it's going for around $3,000 just after quickly looking, but this is gonna need some work. And we found some other pretty good deals today. Yeah, you could probably make $1,500 profit on it. I'd like to try and make at least $2,000, which is a good number. And that one might need some more work that we don't even know about. So I'm gonna unsave that one and check out these last two. There's not many pictures and he's blocking the license plate, so we can't buy a Carfax. Again, just message him and say, hey, give me the license plate. I need to buy a Carfax. I wanna check it out. And usually they're always cool with it. And if they aren't, something sketchy is going on and we've gotta figure it out and probably not buy it because they don't wanna give you a very basic information on their car. Here's the comparable ones, and they seem to kind of be going all over the place, like from 1,500 all the way up to 5,800. Ours had 130,000 miles. This one's really cheap. What's up with this? $1,000? That's not running. Obviously, it's cheap. But I will say ours is right around 3,200, so it's in the middle of what they're worth. So doesn't seem like it's going to be a good deal. That's not a deal, so we're unsaving that one and checking out our last car. Looking through the pictures, he's blurred out the plate on all of them like that. So we're just gonna have to start comparing it. Taking that, putting it into another tab, and let's see. Yeah, there's some higher priced ones like $4,000, but a lot of them are going for pretty cheap. So I'm gonna say our car at $2,600 is accurately priced. There's no deal to be there, so we're unsaving that one for sure. Here's our final three deals. I would say that 2008 Mini Cooper is going to make us the most money and be pretty easy to sell because it really doesn't need any work. Now that you know how to find a deal, you're going to need to learn how to legally flip cars. So check out this video where I show you all the methods of legally flipping cars and some not so legal ones and how to use them to your advantage. And as always, I'm wishing you a lucky day.